Hey, third graders, it's Mrs. Smith. How are you guys doing? All right, I know this is very different. For today's lesson, we're talking about graph and talking about a line graph specifically. And it would have been really hard for me to reproduce this paper, so I'm doing it from a different angle right out of the book, okay? So I'll say hi this way, but I'm here. All right, let's go ahead and start. We're on page 175. This is lesson 6.11. And our math mystery, it is about Cape buffalo, and it says they're grazing animals and they migrate to find good pasture. Fully grown, a Cape buffalo can weigh over 900 kilograms. The graph shows the weight gain for one young Cape buffalo over a period of 5 weeks of grazing. All right, we look at our graph that we have here. You'll see that it's a bit different in that it just has a line. But to begin with, we take notice of the title. It's Cape buffalo weight, and it's from a time span of June 9th to July 14th, and it's measuring the Cape buffalo's weight in kilograms, starting with 250 and it goes all the way to 300. It says line graphs differ from one graph from other graphs in that they compare changes in one subject. Okay, I want you to pay attention to that number. One subject over time. This Cape buffalo's weight has increased each week in July. Okay, the other graphs that we've done in the past, we compare more than one thing, but a line graph can only compare one thing and how it changes over time. All right, so that's one of the biggest difference between all the other graphs that we've talked about so far. All right, here on the bottom, they're wanting us to take a look at this graph. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that you can see what it is I'm talking about. And let me get my paper ready because I'm going to write on this transparency so I can use the paper again. All right, but they're asking us to read the graph and then to answer the questions. All right, looking at this graph, question number 1, it says, what is the subject of the graph? Well, we find the subject of the graph very simply with the title. It's the daily high temperatures in Kruger National Park. So what's the subject? It's about the high temps. Excuse my writing, it's kind of hard to do it sideways. High temps in Kruger National Park. Okay, I'm going to put an abbreviation because it's kind of hard to write it or to fit it all through on that line. All right, question number 2, what changes each day? All right, if we're looking at the graph, we can see the days right here on the bottom, but they're asking us what changes each day. So if we look here on the side, it's the temperature. Temperature, T-E-M-P-E-R-A-T-U-R-E. Measuring, we're looking at the change of its temperature from day to day. Number 3, what time span is covered? All right, if we look at the very bottom, we see that it starts from Sunday, goes all the way through Saturday. So it's 7 days, or we can just simply say that it's a week that it covers. Okay. All right, the number 4, which day had the highest temperature? All right, so in order for us to figure out the highest temperature, we're just simply going to look for the highest peak in this line graph. So if we look, it's definitely right here. And if we just pull our this pin down, we can see that it's on Wednesday. So the answer is Wednesday had the highest temperature. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and turn over to the next page. All right, let me make sure that we're on point with our camera. Okay, I think we are. All right. This time we're going to go ahead and make one. Okay, so this will be rather interesting. So we're going to follow the instructions, and we're going to make a line graph using the information that's here in the middle of the page. This is follow the instructions. So the first point right here is just to write a title for the graph. Well, if we're looking at our table, this is Visitors in Kruger National Park. So our title can just simply put Visitors to Kruger National Park. No use in reinventing the wheel. So Visitors to, and again I'm going to use an abbreviation, Kruger National Park. Okay? All right. Sorry about that glare. Okay, the next question, it says write abbreviations for the days of the week along the bottom. It says skip lines. Okay, if we look, they already started writing one of the days. We know on our table it starts from Tuesday and it goes to Saturday. Tuesday's already done. So let's skip a couple of lines. 1, 2, and then on that third one I'll put Wednesday. I'll count another 2. Next one will be Thursday. Count 1, 2. That'll be Friday. And then the last one, that'll be Saturday. Okay, see that? All right, and then next it says number the left-hand side by fives from 255 to 305. All right, again, they've already started writing the numbers, and so for each line, we're going to add on 5. I'm going to count. I want to hear you counting with me. All right, so it's 255 plus 5 would give us 260. Plus 5 is 265, 270, 275, 280, 285, 290. What comes next? 295, 300, and then what's the very last one? Yep, it's 305. Okay? All right, got that? Oh, I know it's not as clear, but yeah, there we go. All right, so we've numbered the left-hand side by fives. Next, this is to put a dot on the graph to match the numbers of visitors for the day. So we're going to have to use the information that's right here in the box. We see that on Tuesday, they had 255 visitors. All right, well, here's our Tuesday. It runs right here along this straight line right here. So starting with 255, which is right here, that bottom number. 270 was on Wednesday. Okay, this line right here will represent Wednesday, but we have to find where 270 is. It's right here. So where those two lines meet, we'll put our dot. For Thursday, it was 260. Here's the line for Thursday. Again, looking for 260, and it's right here. 260. For Friday, it was 275. Okay, oh goodness, I think my paper kind of slid over a little bit. Okay, Friday is right here, and we're looking for 275. Okay, so that's right here. And then for Saturday, they had 305. All right, 305 is all the way here on the top. And it says connect the dots with straight lines. All right, so we're going to do our best to connect it with straight lines. So here's a straight line. Another one, straight line, and then this one looks like it just continues moving up. All right, so here is our line graph. That looks pretty good. All right, now it's time for us to answer the questions on the very bottom. Okay, question number 6. It says, oh, wait a minute, sorry about that. It asks, what is the subject of the graph? Okay, well, we can tell what the subject is simply by looking at the title of our graph and of the chart. It's visitors. Visitors to Kruger National Park. Again, I'm using abbreviation. All right, what changes from day to day? All right, here on the bottom, that's our days from Tuesday to Saturday. That's not what's changing. We want to see what is being compared with these days, and it's the temperature again. Temperature. Temperature. All right, what time span is covered? Okay, a little bit different than the one we did previously. This starts with Tuesday and it goes to Saturday. That's 5 days, so it's not a week. We can't just put a week. We can just, we could say 5 days, but I want to be as specific as possible. So I'm going to say from Tuesday, let me use abbreviation, to Saturday. All right. Now, next question, it asks, okay, which day had the fewest numbers of visitors? All right, so if we look at our graph, we're going to look for the lowest spot in our graph, and that's obviously going to be at the very beginning, and it's asking which day. That day was Tuesday. Abbreviation for Tuesday. It says for number 10, which day had the most visitors? Well, I think that's pretty obvious because we take a look at it, and it ends up at a very high note, and that's on Saturday. So Saturday had the most visitors. And then for number 11, it says, was there an increase or a decrease from Friday to Saturday? All right, now looking at the graph, you see that? Okay, Friday to Saturday, we can see that the line it continues growing up. So it was definitely an increase. So for number 11, increase. All right, and that ends our lesson for today. All right, so what are we taking away from this? Line graphs. Line graphs are graphs that we can use to measure the change that is happening with one topic, one item.